In this video, we'll be talking about how to compare between decimals and fractions. Between which pair of decimals should 5/8 be placed on the number line? Well, to place 5/8 on the number line with decimals, we first have to convert 5/8 to a decimal. And we do that by long division. So this is, it's 5 divided by 8. And the way we divide 5 by 8 is we'll say, how many times does 8 go into 5? Well, 8 doesn't go into 5, so we put a decimal point here, and then we come up here and put a 0, and then we put a decimal point, and then we put a 0 up here. And then we ask the question, how many times does 8 go into 50? So we'll just read this as 50. Well, 8 goes 5 times into 40. It goes 6 times into 48. So 6 times 8 is 4.8 or 48. And then we put this line over here. And then we'll do 5.0 minus 4.8, and that's just 0.2. And then we ask the question, how many times does 8 go into 2? Well, 8 doesn't go into 2. But if we put a 0 up here and then bring it down here and have a 20, we can say, how many times does 8 go into 20? Well, 8 goes 2 times into 16, and 8 times 2 is 16. Okay, so if we subtract this from that, we get a 0.04. So we get that 5 divided by 8 is approximately equal to 0.62, and that means that 5/8 lies between 0.6 and 0.7. So this is the correct answer. Between which pair of decimals should 3 sevens be placed on a number line? Well, we use long division to find out what 3 sevens is, because we want to compare this with a bunch of decimals. So to use long division, we'll say, how many times does 7 go into 3? Well, 7 doesn't go into 3, but we put a decimal point here and add a 0 there, then put a 0 up there and put a decimal point. Then we can ask the question, how many times does 7 go into 30? Well, 7 goes 4 times into 28, so 4 times 7 is 2.8. And if we subtract 2.8 from 3.0, we get 0.2. And then we ask the question, how many times does 7 go into 2? Well, 7 doesn't go into 2, but if we put a 0 up here and then bring it down here, we can ask the question, how many times does 7 go into 20? Well, 7 goes 2 times into 14, so 2 times 7 is 0.14, okay? And 0.20 minus 0.14 is 0.06. So we get that 3/7 is approximately equal to 0.42. And that means that 3/7 lies between 0.4 and 0.5. Okay, cool. So which of the following represents the numbers 4/7, 1/2, 0.6, and 0.8 arranged from smallest to biggest? Well, to compare these numbers well, we have to first convert the fractions into decimals. And we already know, it's common knowledge, that 1/2 is just 0.5 as a decimal. So we truly just have to convert 4/7 into a decimal. And we do that by long division again. So we have a 4 here when we say 7 divided by 4. So we ask the question, how many times does 7 go into 4? Well, it doesn't go. We put a decimal here and put a 0 over there, and then put a 0 over here and put a decimal over there. Then we ask the question, how many times does 7 go into 40? Well, 7 goes 5 times into 35, and 5 times 7 is 35, okay? And 4.0 minus 3.5 is 0.5. And then we ask the question, how many times does 7 go into 0.5? Well, 7 doesn't go into 0.5, so we can put a 0 up here and then bring it down here. And that makes it a 0.50, or we can read that as 50. And then we ask the question, how many times does 7 go into 50? Well, 7 goes 7 times into 49. So 7 times 7 is 0.49. And if we do 0.50 minus 0.49, we get 0.01. So what we have worked out here is that 4/7 is approximately equal to 0.57. So it looks as if the numbers arranged in order from smallest to biggest are 0.5, 0.57, 0.6, 0.8, and that is 1/2, 4/7, 0.6, 0.8. And so the correct arrangement of the numbers from smallest to biggest is this one.